All right, guys, this is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends free-to-play mystery shard only run video. Yes, we have guys cooking in here. So today we're going to be talking about early game tips for the first month of the game. I've been getting asked a lot about this, just things that you can do, where you get your gear, how you can progress, who you should build first. We're going to do it all right now. So let's see. So the first thing you're going to do is build your starter champion. Now, that means you're going to work on Kale, probably. Most people are going to choose Kale. He is the most effective hero out of all four. Can you build all of them? Yes. As you can see, I do have all of them. See, boom, we've got Aethel, we've got Elhain, and we've got Galect. So they're all level 60. They are all worth building. All right, they do work. However, Kale is the most effective early game. He has poisons. He's very strong. He can reset his cooldown. Well, not reset, but he can speed up his cooldowns on his skills when he kills things. So he actually is the best all-around hero because he can be a campaign farmer, he can be a clan boss hero, he can help you in dungeons, he can beat dragon. Like there's things he can do that the other ones are a little bit less effective at doing. All right, so would I say he is the greatest hero in the world? No, but he is pretty much one of the best rares, if not the best rare in the game, outside of like Apothecary. There's like a few that are just like ridiculous, but yeah, he's definitely going to be the most useful for your first probably 6 months, honestly, and I still use him today almost every day. So Kale would be your first pick. Now, how do you build him? So what do you do? In the beginning, for the first 4 days, all right, you are going to log into the game. You are going to get a lifesteal set, all right? It has basically the stats you need. Hopefully your rolls are good, but it has all the stats you need. The only thing you're going to need to focus on for him really would be speed, but I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue because once you put that lifesteal set on him, I feel like almost everyone's going to have the same problem. He is going to be the fastest one on your team because you don't have anything else, all right? So he is going to be in the lifesteal set. What do you do with the secondary pieces? Because you're only going to get 4 pieces, right? Well, whatever you want, honestly. I think I put him in an attack set personally. I would probably try to get him in something that has some sort of speed on it. But if you want to put him in attack to kind of give you a little bit more strength on him, you could do a few different sets, all right? So there's attack, so you could do just regular 15% attack. You could do speed if you have some speed sets. Crit rate, if you're lacking in crit rate, that would be fine for the secondary set. Let's see what else. Crit damage, but I doubt you're going to have that at that point. What else are you going to get that's possibly available? I don't think any other one of these sets would be really. Most of this stuff's high end crap. Fatal, if you happen to be getting some of that. Perception can work. You can craft that if you've been messing around a lot in faction wars for a few days. But like I said, most of the stuff you're probably not going to be able to craft early on, and the forge doesn't open up. So probably, if I had to guess, speed, crit rate, and the other one that we just said, and crit. Sorry, yeah, offense, speed, and crit rate are probably your 3 best chances because you can farm them. You can get them from any stages. So there you go. That's the first thing with him. Now, when you play and you get Spirit Host, all right, Spirit Host is pretty much going to be one of your. I don't know if she's going to be the next one you max, but she's definitely going to be the next one that I'm going up and down like crazy. Here we go. She is going to be probably. She was the next one that I maxed as far as skills, but she's not the second one that I got to 60 because she's pretty effective at 40 and 50. So I wouldn't really go too crazy working on her right from the get-go. I would get Kale done, and then I'll get War Maiden done just because they're both really good attackers. And then Spirit Host is going to eventually work her way into your mix to get you through campaign. You can build Spirit Host up to 50 and still be able to manage up to 40 or 50, actually, and still manage to beat Brutal if you're building your Kale up to 50 and then 60. All right. So she's basically your support hero. She can pretty much heal herself as long as you put her in something that gives her a little bit more defense. So right now, you also want her to be faster than Kale. That's the other thing. Right in the start, she needs to be faster than Kale because she's going to do attack up, and then he's going to blast everything. If it's the opposite, you're not going to be able to beat stuff as easily because she's going to do it after he does his main hit, and then you're going to have to go back and kind of cycle through. It's annoying. But for her, when you're doing the missions, which I don't have anymore, right? The challenges, what are they called here? I want to make sure I have the right one. So the challenges, these are missions here. We're not doing, well, actually there's missions too. I don't remember if it was missions or if it was challenges. I believe it might be missions. As you go through the missions in the beginning, you're going to get to a quest that says to beat the Fire Knight. I don't remember if it was stage 1, 2, or 3, but you're only going to have to beat a few stages or 1. And you get a shield set. Now, what is shield set? Shield set gives you a shield for your entire team based on the HP of the hero, and it gives them the shield here. I'll show you what this one does. Here you go. So protected 30% HP ally shield for 3 turns and heals by 10% every turn. Now, the regular shield set does not heal and it's not protected. But it's just as effective early game because it's not like you're going up against, crazy Doom Tower boss. But you find that shield set and you're gonna put that on her. All right. And that's it. And then after that, I would recommend you put speed or defense on her. Either one is fine. Whatever you can do to get her faster is all that matters. Most of your heroes, you should be trying to find speed boots. And if you don't have speed boots, I would probably go back and farm them from the campaign just to get it. Even if it's like a garbage, uncommon, or common one, you could go back and get one, and that'll help you get through things faster. Is it super necessary for the early game, like when you're beating through Brutal? No. If you're still trying to beat Brutal campaign, farming for speed gear and stuff may not be that necessary because you're going to be killing things pretty easily just by leveling your heroes and getting them into these better sets. All right, so that's where Spirit Host is going to be. So shield set from the challenges or missions, whichever one it comes from. Just keep doing your challenges and missions the first few weeks. I tell it to everyone, focus that. You're going to get a bunch of free crap from it. Definitely worth doing. So next hero, War Maiden. You get her, all right? You farm her from the campaign, and she is going to be in whatever the hell you want her to be in. I wish there was there's no specific thing for her. As you can see, she's in speed now. That's because what I had to basically get her speed tuned with my team was this, all right? I think in the beginning she was in attack, if I remember correctly. So what I would do is take the first campaign level. When you beat it, you get a 3-star attack set. I would take that set from Kale and transfer it to War Maiden once you have your lifesteal set. And if you find stuff better, that's great. If you're finding 4 and 5-star gear and you're getting things from the missions and all that stuff and from just beating dungeons and whatever, then put that on her. There's nothing wrong with if you have a piece of garbage gear on somebody, you can literally just go like this and then you can equip this one and then destroy the one that you didn't need. All right. If it's garbage, just destroy it and equip the new one. However, if it's something you want to keep, then yeah, you might want to be a little more careful with the things you're doing because you're going to waste all of your money. Now, take the attack set, put it on her eventually. All right. Remember, we're talking the first week. This isn't going to all happen in one day. All right. Now you're going to get an HP set that you're going to more than likely put onto War Priest. What I would recommend is, unless you happen to have another shield set, which you probably won't in the first week, you're going to take that HP set and you're going to put it on Valerie. All right. Also a farmable champion. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you've seen the starting 5. You know that they're all in the campaign. I will double show you either way, but you can farm them all. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it doesn't. There's not much you can really do about it. Some of them you may get running through normal just when you go through it. Some of them you may get in hard. Some of them you might have to farm for a day in brutal. It depends on how long it takes and if you're lucky, okay? So HP set on her, totally fine. More than likely, you're not going to be worried about accessories too much unless you're beating Spider at the beginning, and then hopefully you get some rings. I believe you get some rings for the first week, so you will have rings for, I know, at least Kale, and I think a high elf. So hopefully, if you're lucky, you'll get Apothecary. And then I think the other one's Sacred Order. So either way, you get a few rings for some heroes, but you're still going to have to farm maybe Spider 1, which isn't too difficult, and just get some rings. I mean, if it's a 1, 2-star, it doesn't matter. It's stats. You know what I mean? It'll get you through until you can beat things higher. All right, so that's that. Then the next one you get out of all those, that's 4 of them, is Diabolist. Now, Apothecary is awesome and is basically the better version of Diabolist because he has a heal and a speed up. Here she is. If you happen to pull him early game, just use him instead of Diabolist. Like, there's no competition here. Apothecary is better. So pull him, great. If not, we use Diabolist. Diabolist, the only thing that matters on her in the beginning is speed. So it literally doesn't matter what you put on her. Just make sure that it has speed stats and it's a speed set and you'll be fine. If you don't have a speed set, well, where do you get one? Well, you can get one from the early game tournament. Literally the first 2 days, there's a tournament, or 3 days, whatever it is. If you're beating everything and you're really pushing and leveling, doing the missions and trying to get through as much content as possible, you will get that first tournament. It's not that hard. If it's your first time playing, it might be hard because you don't know how the game works and you're probably going to get your butt handed to you a couple times. But if you've at least started once or twice, maybe, yeah, you should be fine with that. But if you're just starting, try to beat as much content as possible. It doesn't matter about the stars. Remember, the stars do not matter for the early game tournament. You just need to beat things, which is why I say when you're going through campaign, which I will show you now, battle campaign. When you're going through campaign on normal, you only need to beat up. I only beat up to stage 4 This is how I used to do it. All right. Up to stage 4, and I get 3 stars in pretty much the whole thing because this is pretty easy. You can most likely get through it as if you're following missions. After stage 4, stage 5 becomes incredibly difficult because you have Kale, who is the wrong affinity. You're fighting basically force affinity enemies, and more than likely you didn't build anyone that's going to be good enough to beat this. And War Priest, I think, is spirit affinity, but she's just not strong enough to kill an entire wave in one hit, so you are going to be taking hits, which makes it harder. So what I would do is just bring in as many heroes as you can and just beat it, all right? Because you're going to get points for the tournament just for beating these areas. So you don't need the stars. Do not focus on 3 stars at all for the first 2 or 3 days. Like, just literally beat every content, beat dungeons, beat campaign, beat anything you can beat. All right, the potion keeps, beat as many levels as you possibly can. Just go through until you die, and then move on to another one. Go through until you die, and then keep going. And then eventually you'll get a bunch of free stuff, level up a little, finish the missions, and then go back and see if you can do it again. If you're beating up to stage, I think probably somewhere between, if I had to guess, 8 and 10 in the potion keeps. Maybe even less than that, honestly. Probably like 5 through 8. If you're beating 5 through 8 on those, more than likely you can get that speed set because it means you're strong enough to do more in the dungeons too. All right. Now in here, so you're gonna farm from stage 1. You get my girl Valerie. Now your first time through, this is your first run through. Remember, this is the first time you've ever played. If you get Conqueror, you can use him. All right. He is very, very good for the early game, and he removes debuffs. He's very strong. He hits very hard. So just throw him in some attack gear if you have it, and you can get through the beginning with Conqueror. So if you pull him, use him. All right. Next one. In sewers, Skullsworn. He sucks, but he has uses. He's just not very useful for beating campaign unless you just want to counterattack your way to victory. And that means you have to get hit, which means you need to make him strong. So probably not the best option for early game. In stage 3, you have Sorceress. Also, an incredibly good hero. It doesn't mean you can't use her, right? You can build her. And by using her, it doesn't mean build them to 60 the first week. It means you can build them to 40 and use them as a complement to your team just to get through stuff, all right? And that's fine. You don't need to go crazy. Even at level 30, she's going to help you get through easy mode. And then at level 40, they'll start helping you in hard mode. Let me get through here. But if you've been building Kale, you won't even need these guys, which is the funny part. So, next one. In here, Spirit Host. You can use her. All right. She is literally one of the best heroes in the game as far as I'm concerned. Top 10, definitely. Probably top 5 for me, but I know a lot of people don't like her as much. But yeah, she's really awesome. Attack up, speed up. Great hero. All right. Great lead hero. She has a 10% speed in all battles, which is even better. You can put her in the lead. Everybody goes faster and you get more turns. So great. And she heals herself by attacking. And she does a 50% attack up. And she has the buff removal. And she also puts block debuffs, which is awesome. So there you go. She's awesome. Now you can also use Greybeard. He's an awesome hero. He's got an AoE attack freeze. So yeah, he's very helpful if you pull him. Would I farm him right in the beginning? No, but if you happen to get him, great. This guy you will get for free just from beating the area, Rocktooth. He's very useful. He's got an AoE. He has heal reduction, so you can use him to get through some early game dungeons. I would highly recommend it, to be honest. He's pretty good for like putting the heal reduction on the potion keep when you're not too strong in the beginning. Here you've got 2 heroes that are okay. Eris, and you've got Avenger. Now, once again, I wouldn't build these 2 right off the bat. They're not recommended for when you just start in the first few weeks, but if they're the only ones you have and you happen to get them to drop when you're running through these dungeons, then use them on your team. It's fine. Like, they're all good. All these ones are good. There's not many in here that are bad. Well, here we go. As we said, Goremask isn't terrible, but I wouldn't use him as a starter. But if he's all you got, then great. I would use him, but yeah, I wouldn't go looking for him early game. Probably not a great idea. Who we got here? It was funny. That happened right as I was saying they're all pretty good. Here you go. Templar. He's very limited and weird. And if you don't understand the game early game, I probably wouldn't recommend using him as one of your heroes. But once again, he's a very good hero. He's got a lot of stuff that's very helpful. But for getting through Brutal and some of the other stuff, I mean, I wouldn't. There's no content that I can think of from like stage 1 through 10 that I would be like, yeah, he's the one that you need. So I wouldn't probably build him right away. But if he's all you have, he still does decent damage. He's got a provoke. I would pull him. All right, next one, Deadlands. This is where you're going to get your girl, War Maiden. All right, awesome chick. What I did was I farmed that area right here on stage 3 for a very long time, right in the beginning to level. Like instead of leveling at a lower stage or at stage 12-3, on easy or normal, whatever it's called, I farmed this area for the first few days instead. And I just got my War Maiden maxed out. That's how I spent the beginning of my game. I decided that setting up my team for success was the best option, and spending time doing things that matter and getting somebody leveled up to max was my first priority for the entire thing. And that's how this whole thing started. Next one on here, which you're going to get just from farming War Maiden, is Berserker. It always reminds me of Clerks. All right. He actually has an AoE, I believe. Yeah. He attacks all enemies 2 times, which is nice. And attacks all enemies 2 times will ignore 20% of each target's defense when it's ascended. So that's kind of nice. He gets an extra turn if he kills somebody, and he fills his own turn meter, right? So, yeah, he's really good if you need someone to do some damage early game. And he is Spirit Affinity. So, yeah, you could farm him at the same time as War Maiden and use him with Spirit Host and Kale. And there you go. You've got a pretty good damage team that can do some work. So he's definitely not bad. Once again, I didn't build him right away because I wanted to get the other hero that everybody needs, and that's over here in stage 12. But over here, we've got Muckstalker, who once again is a reasonable hero. He's got uses, but not for early game. And then you've got Flinger, who also can be used. He has an AoE, and he has some pretty cool skills. All right, he has decreased defense, so he could be useful for dungeons. You could just build him up. But you also have War Maiden, so once again, it depends. If you didn't get War Maiden and you're having trouble and you just happen to get Flinger, there you go. Just use him for the first, whatever, few dungeons to get you through it. All right, there you go. That's that one. And then here, you've got Executioner, who's a really good hero. He's got an AoE. He's got reduce turn meter. He's got stuns. He's got a counterattack. And he has defense in all battles, which is really nice for keeping your team alive. So, yeah, he would be a good early game hero to kind of help you out with beating dungeons and things like that. So, yeah, if you happen to pull him, great. And then finally, you've got Houndspawn, who recently I figured out is probably one of my favorite DPS monsters in the game at this point. But he has to be paired with his friend who you can't farm. So don't worry about him. And would I say you should build him right off the bat? Not even close. All right. But he is strong and he does have his uses later on in the game. So don't just throw him away. But yeah, and actually in the beginning, you can throw him away because you're going to be farming stage 12 all the time. And you're going to get Houndspawn and Diabolist almost nonstop. So if you use them for food to level up Kale, Spirit Host, and what's her name, War Maiden, and all the other ones, then just do it because you're going to have so many copies of these guys once it's over, you don't even know what to do yourself. And here's Diabolist, so you can farm her right there. Most of you will get both of these heroes probably, not even joking, like 1,000 times. Once your days with Raid are over, you will bask in the glory of how many of these you farmed. So there you go. That's all the campaign areas. All right. Just use Kale and Sniper. She's someone you get early game for the first stages. Stage 2, you're probably going to be using Kale, and I immediately switched the HP gear onto, what's her name? Onto War Priest, the one you get for free. You put that on her, all right, and Kale gets the 3-star attack gear right in the beginning. Then you'll beat stage 2, all right? And then you'll beat stage 3, and then you'll beat stage 4. That's it. That's all. That's literally it. You're just going to level that 3-star gear up along with the missions. Don't level it to 12 right away. Don't make that mistake. Wait for the missions to tell you to level it to 8 and 12 and whatever they are. You'll see what I mean when you play. Do that. Then you're at 4. All right. So now when you get to 5, just beat it. That's it. All right. So you can use Sniper. You can use Spirit Host if you got her. If you were lucky, you can use any one of the heroes in these areas outside of Skullsworn, I think, is trash. But any one of the heroes you get from these 4 stages, if they dropped, are good. All right, so just don't. It's funny because you have to farm stage 2 the most for challenges and missions. That's the crazy part. So you have to farm 2. So you are going to get a bunch of Skullsworns. I use them for food in the beginning. That's up to you if you want to do that. So there you go. But yeah, either way, you're going to use whoever you got for 4 people. Now, once you beat 5, I believe you get Rocktooth here, if I remember correctly. Remember, this is a while. It was a year and a half ago. I haven't restarted the game in a while, so it's been time. So you get Rocktooth somewhere around here, maybe even Tilshire. I don't remember. You can use him, but either way, you've got Crusader you get for free. You've got Sniper you get for free. If you have been doing this and got 3 stars on all of these, you only have to beat stage 5 to get, I think there's either 1 summon or 2 summons, so you can summon if you're interested in summoning. Obviously, I didn't because I have mystery shards, but if you wanted to do that, you could summon these and maybe get a blue hero. Well, you will get a blue hero. You might get someone lucky, but you can always use their summons to do that. All right, and then, so right around here, you'll get that extra summon. And then you'll get a few from the missions too, so don't Don't fret. You will get a few summons in the beginning. Palace, at this point, you're more than likely using Kale. What the hell is her name? War Priest. I always forget her name because I don't use her. Kale, War Priest, and hopefully Spirit Host. If not, whoever you've got. All right, and then whatever your fourth hero is. You can, if you're building them to 30 or 40, you can do this with Sniper and with Crusader. So you can do, honestly, you can probably get through all this through 8 with just Sniper, Crusader, Kale, and what's her face. But it's going to be harder. All right. If you got Spirit Host in the mix, yeah, now you've got a better team. I would say you would just get rid of probably Crusader. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. Crusader's good because he gives extra attacks from other heroes. So having one of your other heroes attack might be more important than having Sniper, but Sniper's pretty badass early on. So it really just depends. I don't think it's going to matter too much. You're going to be done with them very quickly. I actually leveled them up and used them as food. So that's what I did. I got them to 30 and then 40, and then I leveled them up to 50 once. I kept them at 50, not 50, 40. I kept them at 40, and then I used them as chickens to get my Kale to 60. So they're useful either way. All right, so level them, just don't ascend them. You'll be fine without it. And then you level in Deadlands for a while. I spent a lot of time here. You're probably going to get Kale to 50 at this point. I'm going to guess. That's just my guesstimate by leveling here and trying to get War Maiden. And then from there, you just level up War Maiden once you get her in Deadlands for a little bit, unless you're just pushing through really fast. Beat these areas, and then you're good to go. That's it. And then you can farm here to get some extra EXP or to get Diablos if you want. That's up to you, unless you pull the Apothecary. Once that's done, all right, this is going to take a little while, like maybe a day or two, 3 days, 4 days. I don't know. I'm going to say at least the 4 days to get through Brutal. So yes, that's what we did. We got through Brutal, and by the time we got the lifesteal set leveled up, so figure 4 or 5 days. But you can still get through hard for that tournament. I think for the tournament itself, we were able to get through hard mode. I believe, if I'm correct, we were able to beat stage 1, 2. Remember, no stars. We don't care about stars in hard mode or at the end of normal in the beginning. So you were able to beat the castle, sewers, catacombs, Durham. This is where it gets a little dicey when you first get here, all right, on hard mode. So you should be able to beat some of this, all right, in the first few days for that tournament. And I think that's it. I think this is about as far as you're getting is this area, unless you're really grinding. I've seen people really grind and get through it in the first day. So it does happen, but your average player probably isn't going to do that. So yeah, I'm going to say somewhere around stage 5 through 7 is about as far as you're probably going to get. So if you're starting to have trouble, just move into the dungeons and the potion keeps to get your points, all right? But getting through to here is very helpful. You can get through Brutal during that tournament. It is possible, but you're gonna have to really work for it. All right, I'm just letting you know. So don't get freaked out. So that's the gear. That's the heroes that you're gonna use to get through, and then also it'll help you get through hard mode and brutal with just building Kale. Remember, Kale is 60 and Spirit Host to 40 or 50. That's more than enough to beat all of brutal by 3-star. All right, is Kale. Even at 50, it's just you have to get his gear to 16. Remember, but 12 is reasonable. With Spirit Host, 12 will be more than enough to get you through hard mode and start brutal. Once you start getting more accessories and farming things, you'll be better off. Now, dungeons, I mean, just get through as far as you can on the potion keeps. They're going to pop up as quests, but yeah, even like stage, honestly, 5. It literally doesn't matter. Like even just getting through stage 5 is enough for the beginning. Don't go crazy farming potions unless you're trying to get Kale done. You do get some potions from doing the quest, and you may even get a summon here, which is nice. So that's cool. But yeah, get through your stage 5 in the beginning. That's kind of nice. And then just work your way up after the tournament's over. Like once the tournament is over, you just keep going. That's it. Literally, with those sets that you have, you keep going. And when you find something that matches your hero better, you just switch it. That's it. You're going to get some extra stuff in the missions and challenges. You're going to get more gear. You're going to get 5-star gear. You're going to get 5-star attack gear. You're going to get 5-star speed gear. You get a lot of stuff from the login, which I can't even show you. That gets you a ton of gear. All right, just from logging in, they give you accessories. They give you speed gear. Like I said, a whole bunch of stuff. So just by playing over time, you're going to get things. So you want to beat as many missions as possible in the first 2 weeks. And then for the dungeons, I mean, the ones that I just showed you, all those heroes, Kale, War Priest, not War Priest, even War Priest, honestly. Kale, War Priest, Spirit Host. Who else we got? War Maiden, we've got Diabolist, we've got Conqueror, Valerie. Those alone, and what's his face, and Rocktooth. Those guys alone are more than enough to beat all these dungeons. All right, like literally all the main ones. You're not going to be doing Sand Devil, but these ones here are going to be more than enough to get you through this, especially if you bought your little guys here, your masteries for Kale. That's going to help you get through a lot. So those guys will get you through almost all of these dungeons, even Spider. They can run this, I believe, up to, I've said it before, up to stage 14. All right. It works. 15 if you're really crazy, but we're talking like after a while. Like we're talking like a month or two. All right, you're going to be able to beat like 14 and stuff. So they're not the best team for it, but they'll get you through up to 10 probably, most likely easy. You're just going to have to keep building them. So you keep going through here until you die, and then when you die, you go do something else and level up and get more gear and come back when you're stronger. That's it. And that'll get you through at least stage 10, possibly up to 14 with all those heroes I just showed you. Same thing with Ice Golem, Dragon, and with Fire Knight. For Fire Knight, you're going to need more attacks. So anybody who hits 3 times or 2 times on their A1 is good. Kale is good for that. I believe War Maiden has a 2-hitter, so it's not great, but it works. Apothecary obviously is great. He has a 3-hitter. If you happen to pull Crimson Slayer, she has a 3-hitter for this. But who else is in that team that does that guy? The other barbarian hits twice on his AoE to break the shield. I'm trying to think who else we could use here. Sorceress, that she actually has a couple different hitters that are pretty good. I think she's a 2 and 3, or 2. I don't remember. But either way, she can be used here to break the shield. And then you also have Satyr, whatever his name is. He's a uncommon hero you can bring in here. And then there's also Armiger, who you can get from the shop. Like you just go in here and see how you can just buy heroes sometimes. See this guy? Jaeger, you can get him. He's not the one we want, though. You can go in and just buy these guys if you're having trouble finding heroes, all right, in the first week or two. You can literally just buy these guys, or if they happen to drop, Zephyr, Outrider, and Armiger. Well, all 3 of these guys are going to be useful. I wouldn't probably recommend building Armiger right in the get-go because he's a little weird to understand. Like, he's not hard to understand. He's just weird when you're first starting, and you're going to think he sucks. So just know that that's going to happen. So I probably wouldn't pick him. I would pick Outrider or Zephyr right from the beginning to get once you're getting through Brutal. But I wouldn't go with Armiger for that. Maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, I don't really know how I feel about it. He's really good though. He's the best uncommon in the game, probably one of the best heroes in the game. But yeah, he's just not really good when you first get him. You're gonna be like, what is everyone talking about? And you're gonna put him in your vault, and then eventually you're gonna be like, what the hell happened to Armiger? And you're gonna bring him out and be like, he's great. So yeah, I mean that's basically it for the early game. I mean, I just wanted to kind of make a quick video for what you do in the early game in that first week and how you get through it and what gear you should be hunting for. Most of it's just going to come to you. So you shouldn't have to work too hard or need too much advice as far as getting through it because it all comes to you in the missions, challenges, and just playing. If you just log in and go about your business and do whatever you want, you will not get through and get all the free stuff. All right. So the first few days are very important. All right. I've said this before. You need to start this game when you have a ton of time because you want to play as much as possible for the first probably 4 days. All right. Honestly, the first 2 weeks, but really, really grind it out the first like couple days because it's going to get you a bunch of free stuff and it'll help you move forward for the rest of the game. And then you can go back to being lazy once all the potion keeps go on a rotation. But until that rotation ends, you should play as much as possible. And it's good because you just started, so you're probably going to want to play a lot. But yeah, you definitely want to play a lot in those first 2 weeks. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it for the beginning. We'll keep touching base on this. And if you watch this and there's something that I missed or something that you're specifically looking for as far as information, ask me. I mean, just ask, put a comment, and I'll let you know. And yeah, I'll tell you what I can remember. Remember, a year and a half ago. I will be starting a new account just to kind of show it eventually, but it's just been rough with time and stuff like that. As you can see, I have 2,600 energy. I've been doing a lot of other things, so I haven't been able to use my energy. And I preach using all my energy every day, so I have to go through and blow through this. So we may do a live stream later. All right. So if you have any questions, leave a comment. Let me know. And as always, like, share, subscribe. It's always good for the channel, and you help me grow, and you help us get more videos out, and we get cake. I don't know. There's no cake here. I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe. So this is the early game, first week, first 2 weeks of Raid Shadow Legends. This is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and you guys take care.